louder. Joining us now is Congressman Gregory Meeks of New York. He's the top Democrat on the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us. I know you heard the testimony from Trump administration officials, senior intelligence, national security officials this week. Did they tell the truth about the nature of these very sensitive discussions during the course of this unsecured commercial app conversation on what's called Signal?
They absolutely lied. They've been lying all along. They've tried to cover it up. Look, there's no question. Once you have heard this transmission on this messaging app, that there is a violation of our national security. This is something that should have been taken care of in a skiff on a secure line. Had I or anyone else tried to talk about this situation, we would probably be prosecuted. The same should go here. Mr. Hegseth should be resigned or fired immediately. It's an absolute violation of our national security. It puts our pilots at risk, and it is something that we've seen. And then the cover-up afterwards, and sometimes, you know, people say the cover-up is just as bad as the act itself, when in fact Mr. Goldberg was going to treat that confidential information better than these individuals, these secretaries that all were on that call. He wasn't even going to disclose it until they denied it and said that there was nothing there. And once you read it, your eyes, or you hear it, your ears are not lying to you.
Yeah, there was very sensitive information during the course of that conversation. The White House, as you know, though, is doubling down right now in its claim that no classified information was actually shared during the course of that chat, while President Trump is calling all of this a witch hunt. What do you make of those comments?
Again, it's ridiculous. And I think that President Trump and all of them need to be held accountable. Look, Wolf, I'm in a skiff often. And sometimes there is
skiff, I just want to point out,
Congressman,
a skiff is a secure room where you can have top secret conversations without worrying about someone listening in.
That's correct. And so sometimes they tell me they've got information. Wherever I'm at, they won't tell me to pick up. I have Signal on my phone. They won't say, okay, Signal is okay. They said, leave the meeting that you're in and get into a skiff where there's also a secure phone line so that we can have this conversation. It can't happen. And I will tell you, the information that was on that messaging app, we would not even have it as members of Congress immediately after the strike, less known during such strike. So it is clearly confidential information that should have been secured, and unfortunately, it seems another time where the president, who has proven to be very loose with secure documents, as we saw in Mar-a-Lago, as we saw him show some secrets to Russia in the first term, it now seems to be a situation that's continuing, and that's why Congress needs to create and start an independent investigation into all use of signal and communications between the DOD so that we can find out where and what has been said so that the American people know that we are secure and that they are communicating on secure lines.
But Congressman, with the Republicans controlling both the House and the Senate, they have the majorities. How do you and your fellow Democrats plan to get the accountability that you're clearly calling for?
Well, I heard Chairman Mass on CNN the other day said that he will do an investigation. And I've reached out to him and said, let's do it in a bipartisan way. So now that we've got him on camera saying that, so let's now, I told him, let's put this together. Let's sign the letter together requesting, and if they don't submit the information that's necessary by the committee, then let's subpoena it collectively. You know, we've seen Republicans do that, you know, throughout the last 2 years, where Democrats were willing, we admit it, didn't cover anything up. You know, for example, with Afghanistan, we need a complete and full investigation into this matter. This is a matter that should not be a partisan issue, should not be a Democrat or Republican. This is for the American people, our national security, and the protection of our men and women in the armed forces.
As you know, and I put on your hat as the top Democrat, the ranking member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, the Trump administration appears to have deep disdain for Europe right now, including close NATO allies, as we saw and heard in the course of this very sensitive chat. The defense secretary writing that Europe is, quote, in his word, pathetic. How is this being received by our European and other NATO allies? What concerns do you have?
I have great concerns. In fact, I'm changing some of my April travel so I can go to see our allies and let them know that there's some of us that will still stand up for them. And I would hope some of my Republican colleagues to do that. What we're doing and what this president has been doing, he's treating our allies as if they're our adversaries and our adversaries as if they are our allies. You've not heard him say one negative word about Vladimir Putin, not one, who was the aggressor in the fight against Ukraine. Yet, this president seems to be going against whether they are NATO allies, whether they're on our borders, but whether they're in the Indo-Pacific. He is going after all of them, changing what the world order is, and we are losing our allies in the sense that what we've shared with them are values. Our values are not like Russia or North Korea or Iran. Our values are like our NATO allies and Canada and in the Indo-Pacific. Not China, but Japan and South Korea and the Philippines and Singapore. Those are our allies that we need to be working together. And I got to tell you, ambassador after ambassador has been coming to my office, scratching their head, not knowing what their relationship is and whether or not they can rely on the United States of America with their national security interests. You know, generally it used to be the other way around. But now they're worried about what should they give to the United States or what should they share with the United States as far as security, because we may give it to an adversary.
And very quickly, I want to get your quick reaction. These Iranian-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen apparently launched some rockets, some missiles towards Israel's Ben Gurion airport near Tel Aviv in the past few hours. The Israeli air defense system knocked them out even before they came to Israel. But what do you make of the Houthis continuing these kinds of strikes?
Well, we know, and the Biden administration and the Trump administration, the strikes, we've got to stop the Houthis, and we've got to stop Iran, who's been supplying them. There's unity there. But look at the danger that could have happened. Say, if example, on this app, someone else, one of the individuals there were in Russia, picked it up. The Houthis have the ability to alter, protect themselves, and then shoot down some of our planes. And that's why, again, this Signal app, transferring communications of classified information, is a danger to our pilots, to our military, and to our national security.
Congressman Gregory Meeks of my home state of New York, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Will.
Democrats